Minus 60 seconds and counting.
Who is your best friend? Who can you come home to and know everything's going to be alright? Who is the one that will always follow you no matter where you might end up? That's right. It's your animal. It's your best friend, your closest companion, your partner till the end. But have you ever wanted to know more? What do they do when you're gone? Why do they do what they do? Or even think about other animals around the world. What do they do? How do they act? Why can't I have one of those? Well, sit back, hold tight, because here we go. Welcome to AnimalZ, Read All About It. It's a show open from anything from A to Z. It's all about the animals. So, what do you want to know? Where shall we go? Follow us as we dive deep into the animal kingdom.
Hello everyone, it's great to see you. I'm your host Jim Hall, and today I will be leading you on our journey through bits and pieces of the animal kingdom. I'm sorry, hold on a second. Who could this be? Hello? Oh, this is great news, guys. It looks like we have our first story. Yes, I see. Okay. Wow. Let's not waste any time. I have a good one for you. Hold on, here we go. This one's close to home. To start it off, let's jump in our very own backyard and learn how this friendship was crafted in our own streets of Southfield.
I believe in fate, and I also believe in that the animal picks you. You don't choose the animal, and that's always worked for me. Every pet that I have chosen has chosen me. Started off with just having one rabbit. And then we adopted another rabbit, and we didn't know it was a female rabbit. So when you have two female and a male rabbit come together, it makes other little bunnies. We were actually out on a film shoot for Almost Home Animal Shelter, and I brought my dog Dusty with me. We were going to do a special for Halloween, and while we were waiting for all the equipment to be set up, they actually took out this dog, Joe, and from the moment both Dusty and myself laid eyes on him, we both fell in love with him, I just had to have him. When Jojo came up to me and he showed me his beautiful brown eyes and with his cute little underbite, I just knew that it was love at first sight. Right now in our household, we have 2 dogs, so that includes Joe and Dusty, and then we also have 7 rabbits and saltwater fish. The process of adopting Joe was actually fairly easy. They do ask you a bunch of questions on what your house is, what your house looks like, do you have a fenced-in backyard, do you rent, do you own your own home? So they're all very, very important questions that are important both for the animal and for the family that's going to be adopting the pet as well. The main important thing was testing to see if the rest of my family, so that's my husband, and also my other dog, Dusty, if they got along with Jojo as well. I've researched a lot about how to introduce animals to other animals. And this is also what Almost Home educates you on. They make sure that you know how to introduce your other pets to the adopted animal. And what we did is that we slowly introduced the rabbits to Joe, and they just love each other and they love begging for treats together. Very exciting to see that everybody got along, and after that, and everything was good to go, including his health, we took Jojo home. I actually heard about Almost Home through the city of Southfield. The first time that we heard about them, they actually came to us so that we could do video features about them. We do video features all the time on the news, and this actually features dogs that need to be adopted. And after watching so many of those adoption videos, including editing them and seeing them being filmed and watching other people edit the videos, that's how I heard about Almost Home, and I was glad that I was able to support them. Almost Home has teamed up with other local businesses in the area, including Southfield, and they do give you discounts with those other companies, so that includes pet stores, animal training, and also veterinary help. Adopting a senior dog is perfect, especially for people that are busy, they work a lot, because these dogs do not require, they still require exercise, but not as much as a younger dog. They like to cuddle, they like to be more laid back, they're very, very sweet, and especially if you do have a stressful job and you get to come home to someone like him, it really lessens the blood pressure and makes you feel a lot more calm, and all they want to do is be loved. So on a typical day with Joe, this is the best part about having senior dogs, is that they are lazy dogs. They do require exercise, they require to be walked and also played with, but they're not as energetic as a puppy or a middle-aged dog. So these guys, they like to wake up, eat, and sleep, but with Joe, he doesn't want to wake up in the morning. He just wants to just lay in bed and cuddle and stay in and watch TV. And just even getting him out of bed to go outside to, use the bathroom, it's a job. So he's a stubborn little butt. And then it's just he makes me calm, he makes me happy, and I wouldn't give him up for the world. Funniest story with Joe is that our little Joe likes to hide in the house. And he also likes to bolt outside the door. But one day, while my husband and I were upstairs working on the house, we came back down and we couldn't find Joe. And we looked all around, started freaking out, and we thought for sure somehow he'd gotten out of the house, and we were crying. And we sat down on a chair, like this chair, and he had dug himself underneath a whole bunch of laundry because he likes to burrow and hide. If anybody else wants to adopt a dog, I do suggest that you just need to make sure that you are ready. You have to make sure that you are at a good place in your mind, your heart, and at your home, and you need to make sure that your whole family is involved in the process as well. Like Joe here, he's a senior dog. It was really important for us to make sure that we don't have kids right now, but if we did have kids, that they are very gentle with him. And I would also recommend that adopting from Almost Home, it was one of the best choices that I've ever made. And it was actually a joyful process, and we're so glad that we got Joe.
Thanks, Sarah and Joe. We'll certainly keep you updated on this family. That is, if Joe leaves the bed. So are you ready to meet your own best friend now? Let's travel on over to Almost Home to find out how. Almost Home is a nonprofit organization dedicated to finding loving, forever homes for homeless animals. But they cannot do it without your help. Foster an animal. Donate supplies or funds. Volunteer. Or come take us home. To learn the millions of ways to donate, please visit www.almosthomeanimals.org or go to our Amazon wish list. Almost Home. Help us today to save a life tomorrow. So are you ready to adopt now? Check out these Almost Home Adoptable Pets of the Week. Which one will you bring home?
Hi, I'm Gina and this is Pee-wee. We're here at Almost Home Animal Shelter in Southfield, Michigan. Pee-wee is a 9-year-old Pomeranian Chihuahua mix. He has no teeth, so he'd need to be on wet food only. He's very laid back and loving, and his tongue just gives him so much character. This is Casper. He's a 7-year-old Bichon Poodle mix. He's up to date on all of his shots and he's neutered. He has a brother named Paco here at Almost Home too that they would need to be adopted out together because they tend to have separation anxiety. He's great with other dogs and he's house trained. This is Paco. He's a 6-year-old Chihuahua. He's neutered and he's up to date on all of his shots. Previously, you met his brother Casper, who we would love for them to be adopted out together. They're both great with other dogs, and they're very friendly. This is Electra. She's a 4-year-old American Staffy mix. She's up to date on all of her shots. She's very loving and laid back. This is Sally. She's a 1-year-old American Staffy. She's up to date on all of her shots. She's very loving. She loves to play when it's playtime, and she loves to cuddle when it's cuddle time, and give kisses. For more information on Sally or any other animals here at Almost Home, please visit our website or give us a call. Thanks.
Now that you've got that new best friend in mind, let's hop on over to Greenfield Animal Hospital to find out the best ways to keep your buddy healthy and strong.
Well, Greenfield Animal Hospital has been in business in Southfield since 1965. The original location we were at was on Greenfield Road, just south of 10 Mile, and the practice was there until 2005. We ran out of space there and purchased this building, still in Southfield, on Lasser Road, and moved the practice here in 2005, and I've been working here since then.
Well, we are a full-service veterinary hospital, so everything from wellness visits to sick visits, hospitalizations, surgery, but we also provide boarding and grooming as well.
We have a team of about 20 people. We have 3 veterinarians who work here. We have 5 licensed veterinary technicians, full-time practice manager, front office staff, and kennel people who take care of the animals and keep things nice and clean for us.
We see mostly cats and dogs, although we do have one associate veterinarian who sees exotics, and so exotics would mean anything from rabbits to snakes to birds, pocket pets.
Well, the hospital, we try and be very convenient for our clients to make sure they can have an opportunity to come in when it's convenient with their schedule. We're open all day on Saturdays from 8 until 4, and then 2 evenings, Mondays and Thursdays, we're here until 8 o'clock for some evening appointments for people. And then the rest of the days, basically 8 until 5, except for Sundays. We're off on Sundays and don't see any appointments on Sundays.
Well, we like to make it as easy as possible for our clients, so you can, of course, call or email, but you can also click directly from our website, Yelp, and Google. We also have an app, which is kind of fun. You can request an appointment, boarding arrangement, or even a grooming appointment.
One of the big focuses we have is on preventative health care, and I would say that's the, taking a pet that's completely 100% healthy and bringing them in to be evaluated and make sure there aren't any low-grade problems, dental disease, or other things that could be addressed earlier than later. The thing I talk to people about is knowing what is normal for their pet. The amount of food they eat every day, the amount of water they drink, their activity level. If people are in tune with what is normal for them, all I really ask them to do is, if something's abnormal or unusual that they see, that they let us know. And they can always call, and if it's minor, sometimes we don't need to see them in. But if they at least are reaching out to us and telling us that they're seeing something that's out of the ordinary, we can then really advise them as to whether we need to see them or not. I'd much rather see someone in and have and treat a very minor medical problem versus having them wait and then all of a sudden they need surgery or hospitalization or things like that. A lot of those things can be addressed early on. When I was a dumb little kid, I said, oh, that would be fun to take care of dogs and cats, and so yeah, I had that in my mind when I was very young. I had a good opportunity actually at Greenfield Animal Hospital when I was in high school to take a job working in the kennel and walking the dogs and cleaning up after them and cleaning the hospital, and got a chance to expose myself to the profession and realize that it really was something I think I would enjoy doing. And I think there's a little luck involved there too. You know, you never know for sure what you're going to get into until you're actually doing it. And when I look back and what I knew then and thought I definitely wanted to do this job, it's definitely different than I originally had planned on. But I've been lucky to say that I really do enjoy it a lot and has worked out very nicely for me in the long run. Most recent people we've been working with is Detroit Dog Rescue, and we're trying to help them with some of their more complicated medical cases of dogs that they rescue in the city of Detroit. That's something that I think in general our entire staff feels really good about. We can have some moderately neglected and kind of sad cases that can come in, and in a lot of instances we're able to get them healthy. The director of Detroit Dog Rescue follows up with a lot when some of the patients we've worked on get adopted and have a nice home, and I think that's a kind of the feel-good part of doing our jobs. There's a lot of things that are pretty tough to deal with emotionally, but that has been something that we've done recently that I think is part of our community service. I really get to do a lot of different type of tasks and surgeries, whether that's soft tissue surgery or I see a dog with a heart murmur that needs some cardiac medication and work them up that way, doing dentistry work. It's just the variation that I get to see something different every day and do a lot of different things and not have that kind of repetitive thing that I do day after day after day.
Every day is new. Every experience is going to be different than the day before, and there is something to be said for watching a patient come in from puppyhood throughout their senior years. It's quite an experience, and the level of dedication that our clients have to us is really moving, but we practice really good medicine. I'm super proud to work here. I'm super proud of all of our staff, and we love our clients.
We want to provide an exceptional level of patient care, an exceptional level of customer service at every single visit, every single time. I think a lot of the things we have in place, and everyone is very focused in on striving towards doing that. In that if someone comes in, they're going to be treated in a very friendly, professional manner. Their pets are going to be cared for in a very caring way, and they're really going to get exceptional medical care when they're here. And you know, that's what we try and separate ourselves, is just that is going to be our standard, is to be doing that level of excellent work and customer service every single time.
Thanks, guys. Now don't forget to make an appointment for your furry friends. Did you guys hear that? I hear it again. Where the heck is that coming from? What? Where is that coming from? Hey, it sounds like it's coming from the Detroit Zoo. The Detroit Zoo.
I started working at the Detroit Zoo a long time ago, over 20 years ago, as a zookeeper. We have a variety of different species that I watch over their habitats and their daily care, and a variety of zookeepers. We have well over 30 zookeepers working with all these animals, so I help coordinate the activities of the zookeepers and the animals. One of the things that I love most about our zoo is that we have so many dedicated folks working with the animals, and we make sure that we work with these animals every day, that we get to know them. Our staff studies what kind of species they are, and we make sure we know what kind of natural behaviors and what they need to do to live really happy lives. And then we get to know each individual. Across the zoo we have baby animals, and we have elderly animals, and every age in between. So it's our job to care for them from cradle to grave, and make sure as these animals change and age and go through different stages of their lives, that we're able to also change and make sure we're providing for them all throughout their lives. I love everything we stand for here. We're really about the welfare of all of our animals, about all the species, about taking the best care of them as we can, looking at each animal as an individual and making sure that we are providing them the best life possible, and that they're living a really enriched and long, happy lives here.
Thanks, Elizabeth. We sure love the Detroit Zoo too, but who is living there? Let's get to know more of the residents.
These guys are bison, and that's just kind of a misnomer by folks who want to call them buffalo. They certainly look very similar, but buffalo would be a species in Africa. There's wild buffalo there, and these are the bison. So people often get those words intermingled, and they certainly can be used that way, but these are bison. We have 3 bison. We have 2 females and a male. We have Coda, Tonks, and May. We can tell these individuals apart by how their horns look. So their horns look a little bit slightly different. So it takes some time, and certainly the zookeepers know them by all kinds of individual features. But what's easiest for most of us is to look at kind of the curves and shapes of their horns. They've been here for quite some time, close to 7 or 8 years now. They came from other facilities, from other zoos. In the wild, a bison would live probably to 15 years or so here in a captive situation, probably more into their 20s. At the zoo, most animals, not all, but many animals tend to live longer lives because they have veterinary care, they have vaccinations, they don't have any predators to worry about. These guys are ungulates, so they're part of a group. They would be most closely related to cattle, actually. They're herbivores, so they're not carnivores, so they're not going to, eat other animals. They eat a lot of grasses. They certainly enjoy a lot of grasses. Here, they enjoy produce. They enjoy their hay, and sometimes some other treats like carrots. Today they've been playing with some Christmas trees that were donated to us, holiday trees. Sometimes they'll nibble on those and nibble on branches too. We try to give them unique opportunities to do their species typical behaviors and give them things to keep them mentally and physically stimulated so they're not getting bored. And one of the things we do is seasonally, we have a lot of kind organizations in our community that will offer us donations of many different things. And we do tend to get a lot of holiday trees that were not sold. They are donated to us. We make sure they never have any kind of ornaments on them. We make sure they don't have any chemicals on them. But a lot of our animals love something like a big giant tree to play with. So this time of year, we provide these to these guys. They love to spar with them and throw them around, nibble on them, play with them. It gets them very excited, and it's a great behavior to watch. They'd be on more kind of flat plains area, and this is kind of what we set up here is similar. They'd be wandering through plains and eating grasses all day long. They tend to migrate. They tend to spend a lot of times eating and feeding and taking rests along the way. And they look very slow and very lumbering, but they're actually extremely fast should they need to run quickly. They're extremely strong. And we never go in the habitat with them. We always keep a barrier between the zookeepers and the animals. And we do that for safety for everybody, but we also do it so the animals have their habitat and we're not coming into their home all the time. So they always know there's going to be a distance between us and them. The Detroit Zoo is known as the first zoo in the country that went away from having habitats behind bars and having more open spaces with moats. The habitat we have here and all of our habitats are carefully designed to make sure we provide places for the animals to take cover, to have shade, to be out of the view from the public should they choose to. And it all depends on the individual animals. Some individuals are more comfortable closer to the public. Some individuals are more comfortable, but a little bit behind the scenes. So we make sure that we look at each individual animal that we have here and provide a habitat that works for the species in general. It gives them what they need as a species, but then it also works for the individual, so they're all happy and comfortable. Last year, and for quite some time, they were living at one of the far corners of the zoo, that last year we decided to redevelop into the wolf habitat. So if you've been out here, you see we have a really nice wolf habitat on one of the far corners of the zoo. And in order to do that, we decided to move the bison to their current location, which was very exciting for them. It's a little bit bigger space for them. We were able to just kind of open the spaces, open the gate, for lack of a better word, and allow them to just walk right through at their leisure. So when they were comfortable and they were ready and we had the habitat bison-proof for them, we just opened the doors and they wandered in. And it's been wonderful. This habitat is great for them. It's got a lot of different interesting spaces. It's got large trees for shade. It has rock structures if they want to climb or lay behind. It has trees to scratch on and other kind of things to scratch their fur on when they're shedding. So it's been a wonderful habitat for them and great for the guests to be able to see them. You know, we always make sure animals have shelter, and we give them choices as much as possible. And yes, these guys have a building they can go inside. They are very weather and temperature hardy, so they seem to like to be outside, specifically in the cold. If it's warmer weather or poor weather, they have the option to go to a variety of different shelters, covered shelters or inside shelters. And they tend, in the summer, we make sure the keepers provide them cool places to go. They tend to kind of like to wallow in the dirt, so we make sure they have dirt areas to wallow. And sometimes we provide sprinklers, a variety of different things. And again, we provide this in multiple places at multiple times to make sure each animal can make the choice to be where they want to be throughout the day and throughout any weather conditions. So when visitors come here, we encourage folks to walk all the way around and have a look behind the trees, behind the rocks, sometimes in the moat. If it's a hot day, they'll be sitting somewhere in the shade. So I always encourage folks to definitely take their time and look for the bison, and they'll find them.
Wow, what an awesome animal. Be sure to go introduce yourself to them real soon at the Detroit Zoo. And remember to look high and low and you'll find them. Also, be sure to check out Southfield Parks and Rec to get discounted tickets to the Detroit Zoo. Well, that's our show. Pretty cool, huh? Be sure to message us on Facebook at Southfield Multimedia Services and let us know what you want to see for the next episode. Also, please send us pictures of you and your animals and tell us why they are the best. Funny stories, we like those too. All right, guys, it's been a hoot. Until next time, thanks for watching.